Great day, everybody. Great day. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Listen, I am excited about today because we're talking about something that I truly, truly, truly enjoy. And I want to make sure that everybody that comes into the room on today is very much prepared and ready for everything. Yeah? Can we get ready for today? I'm just going to invite the paid members again to come in. You can also be a paid member. You pay $275 up front, and then you pay $25 every month until you choose to end it with a 30-day notice. Yeah, that's what we're working on today. Welcome, everybody. I am Dr. Marian Sister Ford. Thank you for being here. I want to talk about a topic that a lot of people, miscommunicate about. And the reason why that's so important to me is because when you miscommunicate about this particular topic, it has ramifications. And so that topic is ancestors. I mean, a lot of people talk about it. And I'm going to tell you that when people talk about ancestors, most people don't talk about them properly. They talk about ancestors. Ancestors are what? Ancestors are those that are connected by blood, and sometimes not by blood, but by connection or by divine assignment. They are here to guide you, to bring their wisdom to you, to support you and be your insulation, if that's insulation and or scaffolding for your life. So I'm encouraging you to take a moment out, connect with some people, go ahead and share out to 5 people you love, 5 people that you are connected to, that you trust, your frenemies, your 5 friends, and 1 person that's a stranger, and let them know that we're here doing this session. This is a Sunday Soulutions Session. It's a solution session. The solution, meaning that your soul is going to give you the solution that you need to move forward. It should answer some questions to some things that you're desiring to do. So today, before we begin, I'm going to do 2 things. I've already lit my incense, and now I'm going to do something that people talk about a lot, and that's called libation. Libation means that you are recognizing that what you are doing is so important that you want to bring in the ancestors so they can also guide and support you. Yes or yes? Are y'all with me or are y'all with me? So we're going to get started with that. I just want to make sure people know that we are live and they can come and be a part. Go ahead and take your time and share it out like I'm doing right now. Share it out to those people, 5 friends, 5 frenemies, 5 people you love, and 1 stranger. Let them know we are here doing the Soulutions Sessions. This happens every 2nd, 3rd, 4th Sunday of the month here. And I bring forth different topics, different matters that allow us to grow, not only personally and into our mastery, but also to connect more to the other 6 levels of our life structures. Making sure we understand what really is truth for us. How do we begin to frame our own reality? Absolutely, positively, so it is. So welcome in, everyone. Thank you for being here on today. We thank you for being here. So here's what I want to say. What and who are ancestors? Again, as I said earlier, the ancestors are those persons, those beings that came before you. They could be connected by blood or they could be connected by connection. What I mean by connection is that your mother was best friends with someone and that person takes an interest in your development. Yeah. Your family did something great for someone and the way they want to repay you is to help out their future generations. Okay. Ancestors traditionally and by definition means those persons that are blood relatives that have transitioned into the spirit realm for you. Yes and yes. So I've already lit my incense is lit. I also have my candle lit. I can't show it on because I'm also broadcasting on Facebook, and so I don't want to get blocked. So I won't show you that. But the part I will show you is that we're going to do libation. We're going to do libation. Are you with me? Libation is the way in which, hey, baby, libation is the way in which we participate in bringing in the energy, bringing in the power, bringing in the essence. I'm just on fire, y'all. I'm on fire because I really believe in ancestors. Ancestors for me as a person who sees spirits has always been something that I've seen. So I definitely know they're real, right? Because I get messages and I hear voices and they come to me sometime like they hold a meeting with me and be like, look here, blue, 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 blue. I can remember back in the day, there was an issue in our family, and literally, like I I was taken into a trance, and the ancestors were like, "This is where this document is. This is what this is. This is what you're going to say. This is where you're going to take them. This is what's going to happen." And I'm like, "Okay." So when I said it, the elders was like, "Well, there's no way she can know that because she's only 20." Well, I only know because that's what I was told by my ancestors to do. So I'm going to do something called libation. Libation simply means you get a container. It could be a plant. It can be a bowl. It could be the ground itself, right? But for me, I'm doing a live for you inside of my home. So I'm not going to put water on my floor, right? So I'm going to take this glass container. I like glass. I like porcelain objects. I like clay objects. I like natural objects like the inside of a gourd, whatever. You can use that. And then I take water, just pure water. And I usually speak to my water and I say, let this water be the currency, carry the current of my intention, my will, my purpose, to allow my ancestors to know that they are not forgotten, they're forever remembered, and that I value their contributions and their efforts. Now, this is called libation, right? We do it at ceremonies. We do it at naming ceremonies. We do it at weddings. We do it at funerals. We do it when we have family gatherings. Why? Because you're always bringing back in the ancestral presence. You understand, you recognize that those that have come before you are just as important as those that are present. You understand me? All right, so we're going to get going. So let me go where my directions are. We go to the east. We go to the west. We go to the north, and we go to the south. And we thank you and honor you for those ancestors, known and unknown, that come forth to give us the blessings, the honor, the grace that we desire for our lives, the wisdoms, the insight, the protection, the guidance that we desire to be the best and elevate and keep our legacy strong, pure, and in harmony. Yes. And so we thank you, right? And then we just pour it all into one. So then we take that and we put it to the side. I'm going to put it over here where I have my candle and when I have my incense. Yes and yes. All right. You can do the same thing. It's that simple. It's that simple. You may also want to start doing an altar. You might want to do an altar for them. You might want to take their pictures, their obituaries. You might want to take, some articles that belong to them and put them there so that when you go past that place, you can take about 5 minutes every day, 3 to 5 minutes every day, just to have a conversation with them. Remember them. Hey, thank you, sister, for being my big sister and helping me to have a conversation. Go over to your grandmother. Thank you, grandmother, for teaching me how to make tea cakes. Thank you, grandfather, for showing me how to do agricultural knowledge. Thank you, grandfather, for being an entrepreneur. Thank you, daddy, for being the one that go ahead and take and be the trailblazers to open up doors in harmony. This is what we have to do. When people say to me, I remember when I was in the church, somebody said to me, "Oh, I'm talking about ancestors, talking about ancestors, I'm talking about ancestors. That's witchcraft." I said, "What?" I said, "Is your mother witchcraft? Your mother is deceased. Is your mother witchcraft? To remember your mother is that witchcraft. To cook her recipe is that witchcraft. To know the wisdom that she had as a nurse is that witchcraft." No, I said, well, then why do you let people tell you? But everywhere in this world, they're convincing us that ancestors are important. And we're not understanding. Look at the money. The money in America, the money in every country has a face of somebody. Why? They want us to revere, to remember, to take on and remember that this is a person that has an influence. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. Make sure you like the live. Okay. If we continue to destroy ourselves, the many of us are suffering because we're not calling on the ancestral wisdom, the lineage that we hold to be true. This is a difficult conversation, and especially for my Christian brethren and sisters, for my Muslim brothers and sisters. Now, let me explain something to you, what I say very much, and get ready. If you are a Christian and you believe in the Christ was a human being that walked this earth. That's according to the teachings of Christianity. Yes or yes? Thank you. So Christ walked this earth. Christ was a human being, born of a human being. Yes. regardless of all the beautiful, great, magnanimous things that Christ did. Christ is our end. When you become a Christ, you become part of the body of Christ. Therefore, this is your ancestor. We revere, we revelate, we remember, we honor, we trust, we believe in the fact and the miracles and the teachings and the experiences of that being. That is our big brother. We are joint heirs. We are children of God, right? So therefore, we must acknowledge that that is an ancestor of ours. So if the Christ is your ancestor, then that means you should be venerating the Christ. You should be remembering the Christ and all that the Christ does. If it is Krishna, if it is Muhammad, if it is the unknown ancestors, known and unknown, it is all the same. Our ancestors are not gods. Our ancestors are not gods. I know I'm going to lose people because people live in fear, and because living in fear, because you don't really know what you believe in, you just believe in what they tell you to believe in, and you don't know the history. This is it's a solution. This is a soul level conversation. This is not a conversation that is based on intellect, based on how nice you and how well you can quote and how well you can recite. It is not based upon what you look like. It is your soul that is ruminating this vibrational energy. Yes and yes. Your ancestors are not gods. Your ancestors are those by bloodline or connection that support you. Yes and yes. So your ancestors are the reason you are here today. So how do you forget the thing that is the reason you are here today? Somebody had somebody that had somebody that had somebody that created you. So why do we forget them? Look at your money. The money has faces of people. Look at the names of the streets that we drive on every day. Look at the name of the streets that we drive on every day. Look at the names of the streets that we drive on every day. Those are people that are the ancestors of our countries. So when you forget to listen, and let me just sidebar this real quick. Oh, well, my parents were horrible and my grandparents were horrible people and my, this, that, and the other, la, 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 la. All that human stuff has nothing to do. If you remember the movie Black Panther, if you have not seen the movie, the second Black Panther, maybe it's the third, I don't even know. When the mother dies and the sister now has to take over, she is going back she takes the flower and she goes back to the ancestral realm. But when she gets there, the ancestors are not there. It is her cousin, right? The cousin that was the evil one that was killed by the Black Panther. And he is the one that comes forth to tell her how to proceed forward. This is not an easy conversation, because some of us are so stuck in our human senses that we forget to allow the spiritual, the divine to provide us the solution that we need, because we want to deny our ancestors because, they were a horrible person and I didn't like them and mommy didn't like them and daddy didn't like them and da 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 da. Ancestors are not gods. Ancestors are not pit bulls. They're not Doberman Pinschers. They do not go out and attack people because you are upset at what somebody does to you. But your ancestors will protect you from foolishness if you listen. Your ancestors will give you the strength you need to persevere. Your ancestors will provide the ingenuity to give you the tenacity that you desire for you to move into the higher planes. See, y'all want the higher planes. Y'all want the wealth. Y'all want the abundance. Y'all want the holistic healing. Y'all want the eternal longevity. You want the financial security. You want the wealth, but you are not willing to understand what it takes. You're willing to rub hands and elbows with people that you know lack integrity, but you are not willing to trust the ancestor that used to be the biggest numbers runner or the biggest criminal. because they also have something for you too. Because you may need to pull into that channel, that energy, in order for you to come forward. Ancestors, our ancestors, and the role of ancestors in our development. You cannot separate your spiritual, your ancestral, and your mental and emotional from your financial, from your education, from your physical health and wellness and optimal status. It's all connected. Oh, if you can accept that everybody in your family had high blood pressure, so now you got high blood pressure and diabetes, then you can accept the fact that somebody went against the grain and got murdered because they stood up for what was right and what was true. That's your ancestor. Don't be ashamed of it all. I see you, Vivian. Are y'all with me? Or are you with me? If you with me, say, let me know you're here. Let me know what city you listening in from today's Soulutions session. Type it in the group. That'd be great. Whatever you're watching me from. Your ancestors are not this majestic, esoteric fairyland people. They're not nymphs. They're not Tinkerbell. Huh? They're not Tinkerbell. They're not the genie in the bottle. They're your innate information awaiting to manifest. Trust your ancestors, celebrate them. Here we go, right here in the water. Water is life, water is sustainability. When we pour this libation, we remember them. We call forth them. We ask them to honor this space. When you're doing your business, when you're waking up in the morning, you're allowing your ancestors to be a part of the conversations. Maybe Uncle Willie, who was the charlatan who used to scam people, you need him to give you some insight to know what these people are offering and what they're saying in this business deal. Because this time he's not scamming, but he's saying, hey, did you hear what he just said or she just said? That deal is not going to work the way you want because, baby, I'm telling you right now, but many of us won't listen to that. Because we're stuck on the human level and we're not allowing ourselves to excel into the higher levels and realms. If this is too much for you, ask me to slow down. Because I believe that I want you to understand that your ancestors are an essential part of your evolution, of your expansion, right? Of your unfoldment. Yeah, Reverend Michael reminded me of that today, the unfoldment, that a mango seed will always produce a mango. That a grape seed will always produce a grape seed. So if you're meant to be successful, you will be successful whether you believe in the process in which your family became successful or not, because this is what is unfolding. And many of us are not being successful. Many of us are not having life harmony. Many of us are not having optimal physical health, mental acuity, emotional stability, and spiritual awareness and activation because we're stuck in the physical plane trying to logically explain why things are happening. And our fears are taking over, not our innate information awaiting manifestation, not our faith, not our beliefs, not our knowings, not our expansive ability. Yes and yes. Men, you wondering why you having challenges in your relationships. Women, why are you having challenges? Because you are trying to move outside not only of your divine life path, but you're also denying the insight from the ancestors. Why you cook that food so good? It's why you have those abilities. Some is genetic, yes. Some is your purpose, yes. Some is your talents being developed and practiced and increased over time, yes. But it's also your ancestral lineage. I apologize for the lighting, y'all. I decided not to put my light on because it was so bright in here today. It was so bright in here today. And you keep wondering what the issue is. Huh? You know, in my particular family, we have on both sides of my family, I was honored that both of my grandfathers, my maternal and paternal grandfather, and my paternal grandfather and my paternal, great grandfather and my maternal grandmother and great grandmother, they all own their land. So that explains why I'm not in the best position to rent. I'm not the best renter. I'm not the best employee because I didn't come from that lineage. So my ancestors get agitated when I was an employee. I'm a great employee. I always get flying colors. They tell me all the great things. But after about 5 or 6 years, it's like, oh, I gotta go. Deuces. See y'all later. And then once I took on the entrepreneurial experience, which is what my paternal side is, all entrepreneurial, landowners, business owners. My father was the first Black man to get a license to have a business in the state of Arkansas. First Black man to ever have a business, legitimate business registered in the whole state. Huh? My grandfather on my maternal side, he and his family owned acres, like hundreds of acres, at a time when it was unheard of in this particular place. So when I talk about being a landowner, that's important to me because my ancestors are saying, why would you be a tenant farmer? Why would you be a tenant landowner when we were landowners? That's a disgrace. So the anger builds up. So the passion builds up. Why would you work for someone else when we've always been entrepreneurial? Your ancestors are not to be forgotten. Your ancestors, that's why I told people, I talk to my Christian family and friends all the time. If you can honor Jesus, which is the universal ancestor, why can't you honor your mother and father, your grandparents, your great-grandparents that are the reason you are here? So you even know about Jesus. Most of the time, they're the reasons why you know about Jesus. They're the reason why you know about Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. They're the reason why you know about Krishna or Buddha. They gave you the girth. They gave you the energy. So how do you forget that? The conditions we lived in. I want to elevate us into a newer, higher consciousness that our ancestors are not to be dismissed and used like chess pieces, but our ancestors are to be used as the breath of life. If divine God creator is our breath, then let our ancestors be our lungs. Let our ancestors be our lungs. Yes? Welcome in, everybody. Please tell me what city you're listening to, what city and state you're listening to, or location you are in. You cannot forget your ancestors. Regardless of how you felt in this physical realm about those ancestors, they have power. And I've already given you an example. The most empowering power is what they used in Marvel Comics when they came back with the Black Panther series. And when she went, Kilroy was his name. Yes, that was his name. Kilroy, the cousin that Black Panther killed, that came back to tell the sister when she was in power and alone and her mother was gone, her brother was gone, her father was gone. The cousin came back and said, you do not need to be amicable. You must be a warrior. You do not need the ancestors to give you wisdom. You must be the warrior that I was. Huh? You must be the warrior. Some of us are so busy trying to be the peacemaker that we don't understand it's time for us to take war, to have a soul level solution to our decisions, to our elevation, to the growth of our children, to the creation of our legacy, to the maintenance, to the healing for our bodies, to the financial expansion that we are desiring. I know y'all like, what is going on with sister today? But ancestors, I take very seriously. I can remember that when I started going back, to my ancestral homeland. We have beautiful land. Let me tell you, I'm so proud of my family. I'm so proud of my ancestors because they left us a legacy of land. We are landowners, huh? And it's transferring down to generation. And so now I'm presenting our families. I'm like, hey, y'all, let's turn this into some economic stability. Yes, we own the land now. Now let's do something with it, right? Because we have these beautiful land masses on both my sides of the family. But there was some chaos, right? And we had to go back and correct that. The ancestors will tell you, the ancestors will punish you. If they feel like you're not doing what they want you to do or what their intentions, they will stop you. So some of us are experiencing that. How do you honor your ancestors? First and foremost, remember who they were, that they exist, and that they have value. Know that you have ancestors. If you don't know them by name, just know that I recognize, as I said when I did libation, I recognize my ancestors, known and unknown, in the East, in the West, in the North, and in the South. And I'm honored that I continue. It's not about a religion. It's not about an age. It's not about a location. Your ancestors are your ancestors, and they're the reason you are here today. So teach our children. If you can remember the ancestors that are, and we can celebrate President's Day. As a nation, we have President's Day to honor those ancestors. In the history books, they honor those ancestors. You must honor those ancestors that share the blood and connection with you. I honor an auntie every day. She's on my ancestral altar. She's not my blood auntie. She married into my family, but she had a great influence, and she really influenced me, and she supported me. She was my mother's brother's wife. And so peace and blessings be upon her. But I definitely honor her because she took time out for me to tell me some things. And people don't know that because of her is who you see today, along with my mother. We are not worshiping our ancestors. That's another lie they tell you. You don't worship ancestors. You honor and you revere and you remember and you recall and you access your ancestors. I want to know about my ancestors that stood at Goshen Road in a wagon with guns and pitchforks and said that any white man that come on this land attempting to rape and rob will be killed on sight. I want to honor the ancestors that said that I'm not just going to be hiding. I'm going to register my business, and I'm going to be recognized, and I'm going to be seen as a landowner and a business owner. I want to be recognizing that. I'm going to be the first Black person honor your ancestors. They may have done some things that were not the best, but what is it about them? Not every ancestor is not worth acknowledging. I say acknowledge all of them. The good, the bad, the indifferent. I know this conversation is pissing some people off, but you honoring Muhammad, you honoring Jesus, you honoring Abraham, you honoring Moses, you honoring who else? Those are our ancestors. Those are ancestors. They were human beings on this planet. So if you can look at those accolades of those persons, those are your ancestors. Then why not accolade those ones that you come from? Ancestors. All right. So ancestors, question I get a lot is how do we recognize them? You recognize them, as I said, get a photo, get an obituary, just write their name. If you know they like something, like my grandmother loved lemon drops. My maternal grandmother, she loved lemon drops. So I always do lemon drops. My grandfather, one of the things we shared all the time was Cracker Jack. So I always go find Cracker Jack. Yeah, I got to pay for it and it costs a lot more, but I always make sure I have a box of Cracker Jacks around for my grandfather. I always make sure that I have a cross because the Bible was very essential on both sides of my families. I make sure that I also honor the ancestral and the ancestral traditional religions, right? That's what I do. Because I do not want to minimize. Hang on, y'all. You don't have to believe what they believe, but you have to know that if that's what they believe, that's where they got their strength, their power, their wisdom from, and therefore you do it. Sometimes I start, I have an auntie, my maternal auntie, right? My mother's second oldest sister. I know when she's around because I start singing spirituals. I know that's her. I know when I start singing the songs from the 70s, the switch and all that. I know that's my sister. So you have to understand there's a reason why they're doing this. Ancestors are not evil. Recognizing your ancestors are not evil. They're not evil. Okay. Ancestors are not evil. There are those things. How do you do it? Again, you can do something as simple as libation at the beginning of the week or before you have a family gathering. I know holidays are coming up in America. You can begin to pour libation. You get ready to get married, pour libation. A baby's born, pour libation. Somebody dies, pour libation. Can you imagine? Imagine this with me, like be with me on this level. Someone transitions, you pour libation, all those ancestral spirits come and support them and usher them into the spirit realm. What's evil about that? A child is born, you bring all the ancestors to bless them and protect them and connect to them. But yet we'll say, oh, they look like grandpa, they look like auntie, they look like this, they look like that. Your ancestors are not evil. Your ancestors are not in competition with your religious belief. They were there simultaneously as you got your revelation. Huh? How do you honor your mother and father, but yet you forget them because now they're dead and you just want to forget them? So your honor stops when they die? This is a hard conversation for the Soulutions Session. I am Dr. Marian, Sister of Fua of Azon Life Alchemy Center and Exponential Existence, where we support people in being able to understand how to have a soul revival on every level of their life. Life harmony, life expansion. This is what we're talking about here. This is not a religious group. Blessings, life. Blessings. If you're watching, please take a moment and like the live if you haven't done so already. Thank you and appreciate it. A lot of us are burdened because we're not, and we wondering why we suffer. We're suffering because we are not honoring the true essence of who we are. Hey, baby, I love you too. We're not honoring the truth of who we are. We are not in the dungeons. We are not meant to suffer. We are not meant to go without. Some of us need to pick up some of this information and let go of some of us and start looking toward the future. Quit worrying about what people are going to think, say, and believe. It's not your business, not your monkey, not your show. This Soulutions Session is to get you to focus on that which is true about you, and your ancestors are an essential part. Absolutely, positively. Some of y'all money is locked up in the fact you won't make the decision to just say, hey, I'm honored and it's a privilege to recognize that my grandfather was a numbers runner. I'm just saying, some of y'all grandfathers was number runners. Some of y'all grandmothers was madams. Some of them was able to create $10, not $1, but $10 out of 15 cents. And y'all upset. Y'all want to forget that. But now you're trying to grow a business. Now you're trying to build a relationship. Now you're trying to take over opportunities. You're looking for new opportunities. You want to have a new beginning. You want to begin to focus on the divine entity that you are. You're focusing on what the past was and the failures and who you think you are, but not allowing the divine to come in and whisper in your ear and the ancestors to elevate you high enough so that you can hear. Huh? So you're missing the messages. I'm going to open up the call, y'all, for y'all. If anybody on the line who wants to join us. Right. I'm going to tell you a secret. I'm going to tell y'all a secret. So I won a lottery right before. And then I almost won a lottery 2 other times. Okay. So I had gotten these numbers one time in a dream. And then one time I was just sitting down and I was writing, and then this number started coming to me and I kept writing these numbers. So I told somebody to play the lottery. They played the lottery, blah, 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 blah. But they didn't play the numbers the way I told them to play the numbers. So I didn't win the lottery the second time. Okay. I don't know why those numbers came up, but when I did the research later on, those numbers were the numbers of my grandparents. They were the birthdays of my grandparents. Stop running from things that you don't understand. Stop running from things you don't understand. Your ancestors are prevalent. They're in, like I said, if divine God is a breath, then let your lungs are your ancestors. Yep. That's what I'm saying to y'all. So any questions, any thoughts, any questions, please post them. Or if you're in the green room, let me know you have a question. I'll bring you up on live. Yeah. Stop looking back at the past. You are the person who's going to dictate and create the wealth, the society, the speech, the opportunities that you desire for your life. I'm telling y'all, some of y'all are right on the cusp of having a new beginning. But you wasting your energy on places that you shouldn't be. I'm telling you, I don't lie to people. I'll tell you the truth. I've been there. I done had $1 million in gross sales. I done hit the lottery before. Listen, I'll tell y'all something that's so deep. My baby at 5 years old got 5 of the 6 Powerball numbers at 5 years old. And I said, why you want to play these numbers? She said, I saw grandma. I saw big grandma, which was what she called my mother's mother. I saw big grandma. I said, big grandma. She said, yes, big grandma told me 1, 2, 3, and she gave me the number. So I went in the store and I played them. She had 5. She's missing only the Powerball. Your ancestors are you, and you are your ancestors. Stop hiding from them. Stop denying them. Stop letting people vilify them and make them evil, when every day in this society that we live in, we have streets named after people. We have streets named after people. We have money that has the face and the name of people. We have books named after people. Huh? We have businesses named after people. Clothing named after people. So you can remember those people, but you can't remember your people, which is why you're here today. Yeah, they saying it's your discipline. It's your discipline. You got to be stronger. You got to be stronger. You got to be committed, because it makes you feel uncomfortable, because you want to be still in the freedom. But the ancestors are saying, no, ma'am. We've told you who you were. We need you to write down, because we got a next level for you. And yeah, that next level is going to be scary. It's going to be scary, but you're going to handle it, because you are the one that we chose for this journey. Because everybody else was too afraid and too weak. It's time for us to celebrate. It's time for our families to start celebrating, and not to be in fear. You know what I'm saying, baby? And listen to what they're saying, because when they tell you to post them, they're trying to give you some stuff. Yeah. Absolutely, positively, so it is. Thank you all for joining me for this Soulutions Sessions. Again, I am Dr. Marion Sister Full of Exponential Existence and the Aazon Life Alchemy Center. We are here to support you in identifying your truths about your life based upon your journey, your destiny, while you're in purpose. You don't find your purpose, you get into your purpose. Okay, you acknowledge it and you get in it and you let it drive you where you have to be. Some of y'all are going through some hard times because you are not doing that. Your ancestors will jack your life up and they'll make you choose. They will make you choose. Y'all trying to have these big businesses and create all this stuff. Ancestors, well, how are you forgetting about me? Ask me, I'll tell you. Angelic forces, y'all go to angelic forces, y'all go to divine forces, but you don't go nowhere near your ancestral forces. But they telling you we the reason why I'm doing. So just be patient, chill out. Quit trying to control everything. Look and see what we're giving you. Look and see what the history is. Look and see what the knowledge is. Yes and yes. Of course, we all have doubts, my love. Of course, we all have doubts. And we're going to have conflicts and we're going to have people who sabotage us. But when you get in doubt, just remember, take a deep breath because divine is your breath and your ancestors are your lungs. Absolutely. There's no conflict. There's no conflict. Your money lies in your tongue, in your studying, in your understanding. Like go do the research. Find out about your ancestors. Oh, I'm adopted. So what? So if you were adopted and you can't access your maternal or paternal family, access the one you were raised in because those are also your ancestors. Quit saying the poor me syndrome. Forgot to bring that up. Whether you're adopted, you don't know who your parent, you're not aware of who your parent is, go with what you have and maximize it and send it into the space. Yeah, people don't like to hear that stuff. I'm telling y'all. Let me turn this fire. Can you put in some water because it's about to, I don't want to bust. I don't want to spill up. Of course you get afraid. Yeah, because it's new, because they got us thinking something wrong with us. We possessed, we evil. Man, you don't even want to know. Like I said, when I hear spirituals, I know it's either my grandmother or my aunt, my mother's sister. When I start hearing certain words that my father used to say, okay, I know he's trying to tell me something. So I get quiet, I listen, I ask myself, what is it that my father would say or do in this situation? It's a new beginning. It's a new time. It's a new growth. It's a new enhancement of your life. You see, this world we're living in, this physical world is fake. This fear-based, cause and effect. Think about what cause and effect is. Are you going to always be in reaction mode? Or are you going to relax and allow yourself to receive what you need to receive? Some of y'all got warnings about things. That's what our ancestors are for. So if no one else has any other questions, we have come to the 43-minute mark. I'm asking people to support questions about the ancestors, processes. If you want to celebrate your ancestors, just get some photos of them, get some objects of them, put it there. Send prayers. If they like a certain scripture, put the scripture there. If they like a certain food, put a food there. If they like the certain candy, put the candy there. Light a candle, put some water there, go over there and acknowledge them on a regular basis, right? Tell the story to your children, to your grandchildren, to your great-grandchildren. Do not allow the history. One of the things I love about our family is that they made us orally learn the history of our family. If you don't have a photo, don't worry, write their names. I think I said that earlier. If you don't have a photo, write their names. And if you don't have the name, just say, to all my ancestors, known and unknown, I give gratitude to you for all that you experience, all the wisdom you have, and I'm ready to receive. See, that's the thing. We try to make it complicated. It ain't got to be complicated. That's why they're doing all this ancestry stuff. People are realizing they kin to this person and that person, and it's really showing the truth. And some are getting shocks about some of the information because nobody talks about their ancestors. Nobody talks about the ancestors. You ever want to see what I mean? Go watch Louis Gates in his program. When you see people going back and finding out they really ain't who they think they are, or that they are more than what they thought they were, that the reason why they behave a certain way, the reason why they have this tendency. Yeah. Be mindful. You don't know the story. I watched a story yesterday about Baynard Rustin, the one who organized the March on Washington in 1963, and all the hell. You should be. Don't be ashamed. I feel like they were overemphasizing his personal choices in life, but if that's your ancestor, why would you deny him? Because this man was a genius. This man was a mover, a shaker. Whoever your people are, connected or by blood, honor them. That's it. Like I said, one of my aunties is only my auntie through marriage. Another person is Auntie Ann. She's not my blood auntie, but she's somebody who taught me what I know. She helped me understand my spiritual stuff. She was the one who I had to go and sit with, and she was like, listen, baby, when you see this is what you do. This is baby, when you having this experience with the spirit realm, this is what happened. Baby, you got many gifts. You can't be scared now. Some things you can't speak this way. So I definitely call her my ancestor. She's not my blood relative, but she auntie to me. Aunt Ruth, she ain't none of my blood auntie, but she is my auntie, and Aunt Ruth comes to me a lot, honey, and Aunt Ruth is the one to get people together, baby. She be like, oh, they on mess, honey. You ain't got time for that. Get back on your roll. You cannot separate your spiritual from your mental, from your emotion, from your optimal physical health, from your physiological health, from your finances, from how you leverage your skills, talents, and abilities, and from the relationships you create and the money you create. You cannot separate it. You cannot. Sometimes we need to recognize our ancestors and know that we're listening to one ancestor that might be afraid to have the bigger party, or the more of the wealth and the abundance, and more of the consistency and love in our marriages. Some of us need to go ahead and acknowledge that. So we say, baby, we ain't got to do that no more. We ain't got to be scared no more. We ain't got to sabotage no more. We don't have to do that anymore. Yeah, I said ebonically, we ain't. It's all good. My ancestors talk like that. Some of them did. You know, I honor them. You must honor them too, but they are not pit bulls. They are not assassins. They are not attack dogs waiting for you to say sick them. When they need to intervene, they will intervene. But sometimes they want you to have your tail whooped so you can understand. You shouldn't have been in the first place. You should not have been in that space in the first place. So that's our topic for today for Soulutions. Thank you for being here. If you have any more questions or comments, please post them below. Even though a question is a question that we cannot answer. If I don't have an answer, maybe I can refer you over to someone or some resource that can support you with that. I never tell you I know everything, but I will tell you that the answer does exist. Yeah, the answer does exist. Even if I don't provide it, the answer does exist. Do not forget your ancestors. The ancestor Jesus the Christ. Do not Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Abraham, Moses, Joseph, Deborah, Paul, whoever you want to do, James, whatever you want to call it, right? Khadijah, whatever term you want to do. Oh, yeah. Whatever you want to do, make sure you do it. But keep your mind focused that your ancestors are a resource for you. They're a benefit for you. They are to be recognized, remembered, and revered. They are not to be worshiped because they are not God. See? I'm praying to my ancestors against you. No, you're not praying to your ancestors. You are communicating with your ancestors for clarity and direction. And if your ancestors need to go on the offense or the defense to protect you and to protect what is going to happen, then that's what they will do. They will give you the insight and they will create the space. They will bring the opportunity to you. Yes, that's true. That's true. Like the angelic forces will do. Yeah, it's true. Or the galactic forces. Yeah, it's true. This is not an easy conversation. Yeah. This is not an easy conversation. Water your own garden. Water your own garden. Take care of you. Make sure you understand. Get in touch with those things that need to benefit, that need your support. Stop thinking, stop the lies. A lot of people out here on this internet. Your ancestors are not pit bulls. Oh, beautiful. Your ancestors are not pit bulls. Your ancestors are not a Ouija board. Your ancestors are not a magic 8-ball. Your ancestors are the wisdom that is innately within you that will reveal itself when you open yourself up to reveal it and honor, remember, and revere it. Yeah, it don't matter. You feel me? Some of us have the spirit of our ancestors. We always sad. We always poor me. We always, wow, all that shit. For what? Because we're not honoring. They survived that. They survive. I own the black sheep of the family. The black sheep of the family means you're the strongest of the family. So you shouldn't be acting weak. If you're the strength, a black sheep is the anomaly. Black is a dominant gene. Brown is a dominant gene. Get yourself together. Sis, what you having a moment for? What's your problem? What's the challenge? We on Soulutions today. What's the solution you need to experience? If whatever you're experiencing right now is not what you want to experience, ask yourself, why is that experience coming into you at this present moment? Get back into union and harmony with your masculine and feminine. Ask yourself, what am I supposed to be focused on? Why am I being distracted by this? Yes. Remember I told some girl one time I was doing a reading for her. And I said, hey, this man has come by. He says his name is blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, no, not him. Please, not him, because he's a murderer. He went to jail for murderer. No, God, please don't. I said, what? I said, you rejected him for real? She said, yeah, he's a murderer. He's a murderer. And he did this and he did that. And I said, girl, you just asked me a question. You just asked me a question. Let's hear what he got to say. And what the man said to her was something so powerful. I was like, oh, there's your solution, right? And she's like, oh, yeah, that do make sense. I said, yeah. It's not about what the person was in the physical. It's about who they are in the spiritual. They have more wisdom, more knowledge. And they can also, like I said, Kilroy in the movie Black Panther. Guess what? Betrayal is a choice. Betrayal is a choice to acknowledge. You can acknowledge, you choose to acknowledge betrayal instead of saying, okay, this is a lesson. What am I learning? What is the pattern that's in here? Why do I keep experiencing betrayal? You experience betrayal because you put energy into people and give people too much access to you that should not. I don't care if they blood or not. You have to know what you're dealing with. Absolutely, positively, so it is. All right. I feel you. I'm rejecting those we think are no. Right. You got to watch that, because the very thing you rejected, I'm keep telling y'all, go back and watch that movie. Of course, they want to vilify because they hurt and they damage themselves. And they're not in the higher realms. Okay, so take that sabbatical. I'm a firm believer in sabbaticals. I'm a firm believer in sabbaticals. Sometimes you go to sabbaticals, you realize what your role is in the matter and what you keep having a garden and fertilizing the stuff that shouldn't be there. And then you realize that some people have been invasive species in your life and it's time to cut them down. Okay. It's not a judgment call. It's an observation and reflection moment. That's what a sabbatical is. No judgment, no blame, no harm, no foul, no judgment. Just observation, reflections, and correction. That's it. You hear what I said? Observation, reflection, and correction. We don't blame people. That takes too much energy. All right. Anything else before we close out for today? Great day. Solution. The soul is giving solution, not your ego, not your subconscious mind, right? Not your emotion, because emotions are designed to protect you. Fight or flight. That's what emotions are, fight or flight. And then they get complicated along the way. Various degrees of those two emotions, right? So if that's true, then you know that you need to be focusing on that. Ancestors, what we're talking about today. That's why I said if many of us would tap into our ancestors, a lot of the problems we have in this current physical realm would disappear. Because you would find out that you have an energy of an ancestor that felt victimized, that felt hurt, that felt destroyed, that felt rejected, that felt like they had no control. So unfortunately, you pick that up even without knowing. So now you got to have a conversation. Say, why I keep feeling like this? Okay, I'm observing that I'm always allowing people to take advantage of me. I realize that I'm always, giving in to people, giving. I'm always caretaking, nobody caretaking me. So then you get quiet, you start doing an observation. Now you start reflecting. Is there an ancestor spirit that has been affecting that I'm taking on? Has this ancestor possessed me in a way or feeding into my mind so that I'm now radiating that energy and having that same experience? If it is, then now I need to make a correction. And the correction is that I'm going to say, you know what? I love you. I appreciate you. But this scenario and this process is not conducive for me in this life form. We break that. We end that. That's that generational choice that I talk about. You can't break a generational curse until you realize you've been making a generational choice to continue the same way. And you can't do that until you start dealing with your ancestors. Who are your ancestors? I don't have to know you by name if I can recognize the emotion and the feel. Are you a habitual baby mama, baby daddy person? Ask yourself why. So then you go back and you reflect and you open yourself to the spirit realm, and spirit will reveal to you that maybe you were a breeder. Maybe you were the person who was used to mass produce children. You have an ancestor, or maybe all your children were taken away from you during a lifetime. And so as a result, you're constantly trying to replenish. See, if you join the paid version, you'll have time with me, and then I can work through this process. Everything cannot come through a 1-hour session on a Sunday. I'm telling you. Exactly. You help you and that ancestor. Because the only way you can break a generational curse, we might go a few minutes over, y'all. So work with me. If you got to go. Listen, somebody puts a generational curse on your family or on an ancestor. You come down that bloodline and it keeps repeating itself because nobody acknowledges the curse. You wake up and you say, damn, something ain't right. And you acknowledge the curse. So now that you acknowledge the curse, if you continue to function in that way, then you have made a generational choice. It's no longer a curse because now you are aware and you can make a different choice. So once you make a choice to be transmuted, go into the alchemic process and begin to put it into a new perspective, and they will eliminate it. A new thing or eliminate it. That's it. It's not no, oh, this is what I want to do. You break away from it. You break away from it by doing what I just said. What I just said. Once you realize it exists, it is your responsibility to do a observation, a reflection, and a correction. Until you do that, then you just wasting your time. You got to shift it. You got to shift it. And it's not a blame. Oh, it ain't fun. You know, it's because of me. I don't know why I got to have this. Why? No. Your power resides within the innate information awaiting manifestation. The Soulution, Soul-Lution. If the soul is looting something, that means the soul is taking something and creating something new and revealing something new. That's why my company is called the Inner Heal Her Soul Revive Retreats. Her holistic expansion and revelation. If you don't understand that, then you're gonna forever keep living in that idea. That's why I say all these buzzwords mean nothing to me. You got a generational curse. Or you the black sheep. Do you understand genetics? Do you understand that black is a dominant trait? That when there is a black sheep lives longer. A black sheep has more quality wool. That a black sheep is able to navigate and avoid the predators. So why are you tripping? Your ancestors will give you the answer if you allow them. I remember these masks that I have behind me. My mask, I don't know if y'all can see these two circle face masks behind me, the two circle ones. Oh, that looks so eerie, so scary, so scary, so scary. I said, that's my ancestors screaming at me, telling me, do not forget me. I ain't scared. Hell, I'm scared of something my ancestors created. Why am I afraid of something that I am? Does that even make sense? You're in bondage because you're tied between the realities. You're between realms. You got one foot in the reality, in the true reality, and one foot in the false reality. Like they talk about, there are multiple universes, doppelgangers, and all that shit. Some of us, when we begin to evolve and extend into then we begin to move to new levels of existence. The new level of existence means you no longer believe that truth of that reality. Do you still believe in a tooth fairy? How many of us still believe in a tooth fairy? But the tooth fairy is essential because it forces you to have your imagination and give you the idea of reciprocity. You lost the truth. You lost the tooth, and there was this being that was going to come and reward you for that pain, for that experience. But now you understand that the law of reciprocity is deeper than that. It's talking about every level of your life, your health, your wellness, your love, your physical awareness, your spiritual acuity and activation. So what are you talking about? But see, y'all don't want to hear that. Your ancestors will tell you what you need to know. You ever get a taste in your mouth, or a word, or scent in your nose, right? That's ancestral DNA coming through saying, hey, you need that. I remember when I first learned about star anise, the herb star anise. And then I realized not only is it a spice that's traditionally used in my community, in my cultural ancestral background, but it also has medicinal purposes. I am a healer, so I needed to know that. And my body needed that herb at that time. You smell cigarettes because your ancestors smoked cigarettes. That don't mean you supposed to go light a cigarette, but you might put some cigarettes on the altar for your ancestors so they can know you recognize that you understand that's part of their process. Yes, my love. Yes, my love. Divine gives you an idea for a business or for a solution, a soul level solution for something you're dealing with. You ignore it, but your ancestors come and they create the space for you. They create the space for you and you start seeing the resources that relate back to that thing divine gave you. That's what they do. It's all connected. It's all connected. It's not about your feelings. It's not about what you know. Hey, lovey love. I was just thinking of you when I saw this beautiful picture. I said, look at my son all grown up. So handsome. I love you. I love you, baby. And I love your babies. Yeah. They gotta see their other grandma. They gotta see their other grandma, Lee. Your ancestors are not to be forgotten. If you can say that your child looked like an ancestor, then you can accept that your ancestors are still with you. Sometimes your ancestors come back for you to remember the power and the strength that you need to have. And so this child comes back in a physical form to remind you not to be on no foolishness. You feel me? All of this is important. We have allowed ourselves to vilify our ancestors. We have allowed ourselves to vilify our traditional ways, our languages, and all these things. And then we think, while we're wondering why we keep repeating in the demise that we're repeating. We're repeating because we have chosen to ignore the core essence of our power, our strength, our knowings, and our existence. Hey, baby boy, I'm good. Inbox me so we can have a phone convo. Like my son had to tell me, Mama, he was after my last picture. He was like, Mama, you do understand that you are mama to the world. You keep forgetting who you are. And I said, no, I'm not forgetting. He said, Ma, I don't know why you be getting upset when all these folks be loving on you and they want to be around you and they calling you and they just been. I said, no, I know that's what I'm supposed to do. He said, no, you don't, because you didn't want to answer your phone the other day. I was like, I didn't. But the reality is that generationally, I know who I am. We're Sangomas. We're Sanjis. We're healers. We're midwives. We're spiritualists. We're seers. We're healers. So why would I have to? We've always had people drawn to us. So why would I act like it? Yes, sometimes I do gotta cut my phone off. Don't y'all play with me? Don't y'all play with me? I'm gonna cut my phone off now. But the reality is that this is why I enjoy what I'm doing. Even when I used to, every job I've ever had, hospital, education, I always pull people, and our people were drawn to me, and we were able to make some choices. Your ancestors are not evil. Your ancestors are not to be forgotten. Your ancestors are connected to your next level. Huh? Don't just focus on one ancestor. Allow them all, known and unknown, to come in and give me the wisdom, the insight, and understanding that I need to propel us forward and maintain us, to have celebrations, to have growth. Okay, baby, I'm waiting, son. I'm going to call you when I get done. That's one of my babies. I remember him. Always a good man. He a good man now. I can't call him a boy. He a man now. Yes. He's a man. See, like that. That's me. That's my being. That's me. By connection. And it's time for us to come back and revere and give the proper adjustment. How do you revere and recognize your ancestors, known and unknown? Just write it down. To my ancestors, known and unknown, we thank you for all of that you have shared, all that will come. We appreciate. Write it down in your own words. Put it someplace. Put a candle. Put some water. If you know that your grandmother liked dark chocolate, or excuse me, Hershey's candy bar, buy a Hershey's candy bar every month and put it out there for her, especially on her birthday. Sing her songs. Write her scriptures. Do whatever it was that you know she liked to do. Put on her favorite color. Play the favorite song. Do dance the dance. That's how you connect to your ancestors. Study them. All these ancestry things, you know, I get leery sometimes, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and do the African ancestry, right? Unfortunately, peace and blessings, all of the male, except, well, I got a nephew. I shouldn't say that. I got a nephew and I got a son. Then I'm gonna have do the male African ancestry test so we can, you know, do some things, because I know some things that were passed down orally, but I feel like there's something else because I've traveled the world and there's some places that I'm like, hold up, now. Them words and some of those processes I remember growing up as a child. Okay? So keep that in mind. Have patience. Stop thinking your ancestors are like a psychic line. You call up. Tell me what you're going to know, ancestors, and they just going to talk to you. No, sometimes they're going to take you through a process to make you understand that they're in a space and they want you to stand down 10 toes. They want you to believe. They want you to begin to focus. They want you to begin to not stress. Not stress. You know? Begin to plan out some things. Ask some questions. Do some research. Sometimes we really even realize that we're drawn to certain colors and certain foods, not because it's us as individuals. It's because it's part of your lineage. It's part of your ancestor is guiding you. Oh, he or she is bougie and uppity. No, that's your lineage. Okay? It's your lineage. Hey, they about it. That's your lineage. Everybody wasn't a king and queen. Some was warriors. Some were urban. Some were the medicine people. Some were the people that were able to do the spiritual work. Stop worrying about a title and start becoming more whole in who you are. Some were the agriculturalists. Some were the maintainers of life through animal and sea. Land animal and sea animal. So anyway, I've gone over today. Thank you all for participating and being here. As I want to remind everybody, we are hosting retreats. Listen, please do not wait. Please do not wait. I'm telling you right now, the retreats are $3,500 for international. They are $2,500 if you come in to Memphis, to Arizona. And we're working on one in the Bay Area, but that one isn't solid yet. So I'm going to tell you right now, Memphis and Arizona is $2,500. Do not wait. Pay your $500 deposit. They all require a $500 deposit minimum. Get yourself booked for the retreat. If you're coming in December for the winter solstice gathering, it is very small, very intimate. We will be here. It's $177. If you come in, if you want to stay at the house, it becomes $377. All right. So it's a 3-day event here in December 20th through the 22nd. Figure out what you want to do. Get busy. Take the risk. Get involved. These are the type of things we talk about. These are the type of things I can break down. I can work on you individually. So you got to I'm giving a general conversation now, right? But minimally, create a space where you recognize your ancestors, whether you have photos or not. Take a bowl with some water every day. Thank you, ancestors. When you're leaving out, hey, ancestors, peace and blessings to you. Thank you for being who you are, and walk on out the door. Thank you, God, for my ancestors. Okay? And that way we can move forward. It's not a competition. Your belief in a higher divine power is your belief in a higher divine. There are levels to this shit, literally. Huh? There are levels to this. All is not the same, and same is not all. I know, right? Any questions before I go? Before I go about ancestors. If you want to book a private reading with me for spiritual matters, you know how to do that. If you know that you're part of the paid group and you want to do your monthly session, if you are part of the paid academy, you know you get 145 session a month, 145-minute session a month to talk to me at no charge. Okay. And then if you want a second session, it becomes $30, $30 for half an hour. All right. Anything else? Anything else, y'all? Anything else? Anything else? Also reminding y'all, this is the fourth quarter. If you are working about your money, your business, start getting clear. You can't be running from your money. It's not going to fix itself. It's not going to get in alignment by itself. Right? It's not. And unfortunately, some of us have ancestral spirits and thoughts and beliefs and practices that prevent us from having our abundance and our wealth. And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right, everybody, the retreats again are available. I'll see y'all soon. Questions about it, go to our website at exponentialexistence.com, click on retreats. If you want to have a private session with me, a private coaching, private session with me, go ahead and go to my website, exponentialexistence.com, or you can go over to linktree/spiritual soul spa. See y'all so much. Much appreciate you. More love, peace, and honor. We are, because that's what we are innately. All right, see y'all soon.